All right, here we are. So we're in an arm of the base where we saw, when we walked in here initially, we saw a Geth that was in like a test tube thing. This has been a very eerie mission. We have to basically, there's a like a system shutdown that originally all three of the like project leads had to do it simultaneously. But there's manual overrides, and so we're going into these areas to try to do the manual overrides. And we have Garrus and Tally with us for this mission.
Scanning area. Analysis. The objective is located on the far side of this impasse.
What is this? Move the floor panel. Oh, we have to, okay, so we have a floor panel we've got to move in order to be able to get... Alright, Garrus, get out of the way. Okay, that goes like that. Oh, I see. Okay. Go get the stuff that's over here. Yeah, there's puzzles too. Little red boat's pretty great. Alrighty. Good. Now let's go across the platform. Let's go lock this place down, baby. Why is their hammerhead not controlled by David? My only guess would be because the hammerhead's not on that network. And so David can't interface with it because the hammerhead's not on. I mean, it's almost like the hammerhead's air gapped. That's my only guess. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting question. All right, we got more death. Hack the laptop. Do. Get some money here. What's up, Jugger? Good to see you, buddy. Also, Positive Guy, thank you for the 9 months. I don't know if I called that out when it came through. Thank you so much for the sub, friend. Because the hammerhead has plot armor. Yeah, that's fair, too. All right, let's override.
Override of Atlas Station lockdown accepted.
Uh-oh.
And there's the catch. I knew this was too easy. Come on, let's move.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Dun, dun, dun.
Hostile Geth activity detected.
Oh, great.
Response is authorized.
Great.
Cerberus reminds all personnel that this emergency is now classified information. Disclosure to outside parties is a violation of your confidentiality agreement.
This emergency is confidential? Disclosure of this emergency is in violation of your confidentiality agreement? Holy shit. That is ridiculously intense.
Nodes 7 through 14 are now active. Emergency action required.
Get ready to fight.
Affirmative. Taking heavy fire.
It's kind of cool that Tally's AI override can override the VI's. Oh, shit. Garrus? Garrus? Yo, dog, I heard you like overrides, so I got an override that overrides your override. Oh, my God.
Combat drone ready.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Ooh, baby. That was a little bit intense. How do I get up there? Alright. We got more. You know, Ideogram, I actually know somebody who also had a similar situation, and yeah, it's what you sign up for when you're in the when you're in a relationship with somebody who has access to confidential information like that. Pretty nuts.
Combat drone away.
All right. So far, so good. So far, so good. Indeed, Mystic. In fact, Allie and I actually can't talk about clients with each other, and we take that very seriously. A lot of people ask us that, and like, no, we do not talk about our clients with each other. Ah!
Combat drone ready.
Oh boy. Harris? Damn it. Oh boy. Shoddy? Garrus, move, buddy. Ugh.
Eat this. Watch out, Shepard.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Warning. Get neural activity increasing. Please isolate machines immediately.
Oh boy.
I'll hack their shield.
Geth ain't messing around. What's up, Jareth? It's going all right. How are you doing, buddy?
Go for the...
All right, Garrus, get up. Good to go. Thermal clip would be nice. Where are you in Mass Effect at the moment? I am in Mass Effect 2. We are currently doing Project Overlord, which is a DLC mission, but we have not yet gone, for anybody who's looking for a point of reference, we have not gotten the Reaper IFF yet.
Warning. Get notes 20 through 35 on
20 through 35? Jesus.
requirement.
Oh, here we go. We're in the main room. Let me guess. Yep. I had a feeling this guy would be out. Oh, shit. No. Stay there. Oh, that was close. Be smarter, Ryan.
Go for the optics. Go for the optics.
Be smarter. It looks like a prime candidate for death, Fictionaire. You know what I'm saying? Reload, Shep. Okay. Now we can focus. Nope. Trooper. Whoa! Get Sally. There we go. Thank you. All right, let's get our arc projector out. Use this baby. All right. Not bad. Do you think therapists should see more than one sibling for individual therapy? Depends. I would need to know what the person's in therapy for and how the family system's involved. I'm a fan of bringing into therapy anybody who's involved in the issue that's being discussed in therapy, but I don't think as a rule of thumb you should always have to bring in certain people. It's very much an it depends question. All right, let's get out of here. Travel to Vulcan Station to override the lockdown. Can do. All right, we got out. So far, so good. Successfully issued the override command from Prometheus Station. Sweet. Alright, let's go get those remaining data fragments and try to stay alive here.
Commander, that was a daring piece of work. Prometheus Station was a success. You still need to go to Vulcan Station and override the lockdown from there. Good luck.
Alright, chat. Three and a half. Get your votes in.
Geographic conditions indicate an aesthetically pleasing view nearby. Organic life forms may wish to take note.
Thank you, Hammerhead. You're always so thoughtful. All in? Jesus. All right, buddy. I'll try not to disappoint. But this is the Hammerhead, man. Okay, invisible wall.
Another Cerberus data packet has been recovered. 4 more remain.
Okay. It seemed a little too easy. A little too good to be true. Alright, we got another base over here.
Threat detection. Enemy units nearby.
Okay.
Another Cerberus data packet has been recovered. 3 more remain.
What was the split on the predictions? I didn't see the number. We got more believers or non-believers? 55-45, okay. More believers. All right. That's what I'm talking about, chat. Let's get you paid out with that blue money.
Scans indicate VI infection is present in nearby turrets.
I mostly don't want to die just because I don't want to reload and have to do all this shit over again. This thing's literally made out of paper mache. How is this still alive?
Another Cerberus data packet has been recovered. 2 more
All right,
remain.
2 more to go. I still don't remember where all of these are. I like how they rebuilt the Normandy along with a few upgrades, but then they also built this. I know, right? Like, the Mako was so much more durable than this thing. I mean, this thing's more fun to drive, don't get me wrong, but... Give me the Mako, man. Whoosh. Whoosh! I think we entered from over here. Yep, we did. Okay. I knew there was a reason I liked you. I knew there was a reason I liked you, Vol. So that works out. We grabbed this one. This one's done. Yeah, no, the Nomad's awesome, Fictionaire. I would agree with that. I think it's fun to drive. The thing I don't like about Andromeda is just how, like, open world it is. I really like the design of 2 and 3 where it's a lot more, it's like linear, but sort of gives you an illusion of open world. I'm very much a person that prefers that in games over just pure free roam. Oh, no, 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 no. How the hell? You guys see how that rocket off that thing just, like, homes me like that? Oh, we're getting a little ballsy here. Getting a little ballsy.
Another Cerberus data packet has been recovered. One more remains.
Alrighty. Any turrets?
Another Cerberus data packet has been
Hey.
Data packets have been recovered.
Hey. And we're going in. We're going to pay it out. I'll be right back. I got to pee really bad. 0. Come on now. Could that have been any easier? All right, and we're back. Yeah, I think we got to keep going with the dynamic duo here. I know, it really is Fictionaire. It is terrible. Hell yeah.
Commander, this is Archer. I advise extreme caution. Vulcan Station is our geothermal plant. They stopped reporting it shortly after the experiment. Scanning area. Analysis. VI infection is present within plant machinery. Advise caution.
All right, chat. Let's see if the believers really put their money where their mouth is.
Hey yourself, pretty lady. Good morning.
Timberto, thank you very much for the follow, friend. Appreciate it. Yes, in real life, Daniel. Yes, will I die? Will I die? Will I literally die on stream right now? Yes. I sure hope not. Damn.
Scanning area. Analysis. Vending stations provide adequate velocity to enhance vehicle lift.
This is a very poorly designed facility, if I may say so myself. I have got to believe that it's probably happened before, Vol. I don't know that we need to really go digging into the recesses of Twitch to find that, but wouldn't surprise me. Submissions are open for a minute. I probably should have made it 2 minutes. That's my bad. But yeah, they're open for 1 minute. What do we got over here? Yeah, whoever thought that noise was a good idea wasn't really thinking.
Scanning area. Analysis. Debris field provides adequate support for vehicle.
Okay. Oh boy, chat. Oh boy. This is fine. This is fine. It's just Frogger. Woo! What's up, Metroid?
Thruster velocity is inadequate to clear the wall ahead.
Indeed. Press F to exit.
Warning. Automated controls are offline. Core systems have been compromised.
By the way, the payout is for the entirety of this mission, not just for that hammerhead section, so, or for the entirety of this part. I hear intense music. Oh shit! Neither one of these is particularly useful here. Ooh. Perhaps Morden would have been the better play here. And the VI's sound is intense. Alright. We're good. So far, so good. Valve A3 control.
Pressure levels in valve A3 have exceeded max.
Engineer's log. We've registered a huge spike in energy consumption. My technicians traced it to the experiment underway at Atlas Station. We're trying to raise them now.
Warning. Pressure levels in valve A3 have exceeded maximum threshold. Manual control is required.
Okie dokie. Can do. Can do.
Venting outflow successful.
He's not happy. He is not happy. I will say, I'm curious why the VI... Well, I mean, I guess it would make sense. I guess if the VI knows that we're after it. Like, I don't understand the need for the VI to be hostile unless it's perceiving us as Cerberus, and I guess Cerberus has been running these experiments, but I just find it to be interesting that this VI is like, oh, Jesus. Isn't your goal to eliminate it? Yes, but the VI, I don't know how the VI knows that, you know? Again? Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh! Oh my god. Alright, that was a little intense. That was a little intense. Wasn't my favorite. Oh my gosh. You should lay off the lava a bit? Yeah, probably a good idea. This is treacherous, man. Not worth it. Nope, that ain't worth it. I'm not dealing with that. That is not worth it for whatever materials I was gonna get there. Okie dokie. Here we go, chat. We're gonna leapfrog this. Ooh. Ooh. Easy. Easy. Oh, man, that was smooth. That was so smooth. Hell yeah.
Nice work.
Okay. All right. This is fine. David, man, come on. I'm trying to help you, brother.
Warning. Pressure levels in valve D4 have exceeded the recommended threshold. Manual control is required.
Valve D4 bypass. Alright, so it's been bypassed. We got enemies around here? I mean, I hear the VI doing stuff. Oh, yep.
We've been spotted.
This should stop the fire.
Okay. Oh. Alrighty, good. Oh, we got another drone up there. Oh boy. Lost Tally. Not good. Get back up, fellas. If Tally could AI hack that, I would love that.
Weapons ready.
I don't know if she can, though. Nope, she can't. Alright.
Contact point ready.
Jesus. Alright. There we go. There we go. Woo, baby. Whoa! Oh, I guess that might have been useful to like blow those mechs off the track, but whatever. All right, easy does it. Nice and chill here. Thermal clip. Just random wall safe.
Received an SOS from Atlas Station. Archer has declared a project emergency. We're trying to shut down the power generators to starve the VI, but it's already hacked our automated systems. I'm ordering my people to sabotage the plant any way they can.
Okie dokie. I have not, Chico. Tally was flirting with me, but I don't want to risk infection. She's got a compromised immune system. And I'm into Arya. You know?
They've seen us.
Dun, 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 dun. Tally, that's awful. Ballsy view.
This should punch through their armor.
Combat drone ready.
Oh shit. Two arc projector shots. Let's use them. Oi, 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 oi.
Go get him, Chica. Good girl.
Come on, baby. Yeah! Yeah, buddy. All right, that was huge. I honestly love the sound for the VI Little Red Boat. I really like that sound. The one for the Hammerhead I think is annoying, but the VI noise I think is super cool. It's like really intense. Like when you hear it, it like makes you shudder. My sense is that that was by design. There we go. Let's go. Cleared out that mech. It sounds like it's screaming. Right, I think it's designed to be unsettling. I really do. Okay. What you doing? Wait, is the VI trying to...
Are you receiving this? Commander Shepard, this is Dr. Archer. Please respond.
I hear you, Doctor. We've hit the override at Vulcan Station and are moving on. Shepard out.
There we go, believers. There we go. Wow, there were more believers than not. All right. Okay, so this is the part where I want to just give the heads up, friends, that we are getting very close to where there may be some parts of this that are unsettling. You might find them uncomfortable. We're going to do some analysis for some things. If you find yourself getting kind of like emotionally affected in a way that's not comfortable, or you find yourself getting distressed by some of the content, it's totally okay if you need to step away for a little bit. If you want to hang in there, just kind of see how you feel as we're going through it. I just like to give a little bit of a heads up just so that, you know, if you do start to feel it, don't feel like you got to force yourself to hang in there. The VOD will always be here, or you can just skip it. But there's some very cool discussion that's probably going to come out of this, and I just like to give the heads up.
Commander, you've done it. The lockdown has been cancelled. You can now breach Atlas Station and end this nightmare. You'll need to find the main server room there to shut down the VI experiment. Good luck.
Geographic conditions indicate an aesthetically pleasing view nearby. Organic life forms may wish to take note.
Garrison Tally. We're just gonna keep going with them. What's up, Kit?
Looks like you're in, Commander. Good. I'm getting some troubling readings here, though. The VI is trying to upload its program directly from your location. Get to the server room and shut down the core before it can...
To RH.
Archer log 155.2. For years, my brother's condition has been a handicap. That changed today. His autistic mind is the breakthrough I've been looking for. He can communicate with the Geth. Such a tremendous grasp of mathematics. It seems serendipity is alive and well in the 22nd century.
Okay. So now we've just learned that apparently David is on the autism spectrum. This does not sound great. It's fine that David's on the autism spectrum. It just sounds like this has been harnessed for something not great. Just so I'm clear. Oof. Oh, Jesus, Tally. Come on. What are you doing? More Geth.
Archer log 157.8. Unless he sees results, the elusive man is shutting us down next week. I have no choice. I'm going to tap David directly into the Geth neural network and see if he can influence them. The danger should be negligible. David might even enjoy it.
Well, that sounds like a man who's trying to convince him of something that he knows he probably shouldn't do. You can just hear him self-justifying. He may even enjoy it.
Arriving at level 2.
Affirmative.
Bunkering
Resetting
down.
elevator. Resetting elevator. Resetting elevator.
Oh, shit. Okay. Right. We're on level 7.
Arriving at level 2. Arriving at level 4. Arriving at level 6. System malfunction.
Right. Okay. All right. Gotta remember this puzzle. I forgot.
Arriving
I forget.
at level
I
2.
completely forgot how this
Arriving at
puzzle
level
works.
4. Arriving at level 1. Arriving at level 3. Arriving at level 5. Arriving at level 7.
Affirmative.
Deploy combat drone.
Shield to fail.
Garrus. Brother. Okay. Oh no. Oh man.
Hostile drone.
Okie dokie.
Arriving at level 6.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Please contact facility support. This elevator is not in service. Please choose another. Smoke detected. Please extinguish all cigarettes.
Okay, Garrus.
I'd be lying if I said no harm could come to David. His autistic mind is as alien to me as an actual alien. Anything could happen when we plug him in. But I have to try, don't I?
Oh man. By the way, for those who didn't catch what was just said, it said David's autistic mind is as alien to him as it is an alien. So it's clear that David's brother here doesn't understand what he's working with.
This should come in handy.
Decelerator offline. Serious injury may occur.
Get ready. I wouldn't be surprised if this button summoned a Reaper.
Remember, chat, please no spoilers in chat. We will discuss it. I don't have Garrison Tally with me. we hear him actually saying stop.
Square root of 906.01 is 30.1. Square root of 912.04 is 30.2.
Time on this project is running out. There are no options left. How to get the guest's attention?
The robot says hello.
Eureka, David. You're a miracle worker.
Whoa. David could legitimately talk to the Geth?
David, I want you to order the Geth to take a step forward.
How does he do it?
David is a mathematical savant. His autistic mind can interpret the Geth language at its most basic form and mimic their phonetics, with his photographic memory cross-referencing the meaning as a snap. He's literally a human computer.
And you think he can interface with the Geth's neural network?
I do.
Is that even safe, Doctor?
I see no harm in finding out.
I see no harm in finding out.
Square root of 906.01 is 30.1. Square root of 912.04 is 30.2.
David, can you repeat my notes from Thursday's experiment?
Square root of 918.09 is 30.3.
David, please pay attention.
Loud. It's getting loud in here.
I'm sorry, you didn't deserve that. Would you mind repeating my notes from Thursday's experiment?
Log 137.3. The experiment yielded no discernible patterns of Geth obedience. End dictation now, David. Hell, the elusive man will have my head for this.
Thank you. And how are you feeling today?
Square root of 924.16 is 30.4. Earplugs would be good.
Dude. So sensory overload is common with autism. And especially auditory stimulation. Sometimes be very overwhelming. And in this case, if Archer's demanding certain tasks out of David, even if David might be good at them, it may be overwhelming for him, particularly if he doesn't understand why he's doing them. But, you know, him saying it's getting loud in here, sometimes you will actually hear people with severe, particularly with severe autism, will say things like that. It's getting very loud in here, which often means I'm overstimulated right now. And I can't discern really what's going on in my head and my thoughts and putting it all together. Archer deciding to be a little bit gentler with him is a nice way to handle that. It's just very I don't know. Archer using that for his own gain, not great. Oh boy. I don't really have good. So I will say this, because again, I know that this is going to be we're going to have probably a lot of discussion about this. There's sort of a dual thing going on here in terms of representation that I think is important to acknowledge. One is that, is it maybe a bit cliche to suggest that a person with autism is robotic in the way that they're thinking about it and would have an affinity toward numbers? Yes. At the same time, the depiction of David here, I don't think is entirely unrealistic. Like, you could ostensibly see this. And if David is particularly great with mathematics, if that's something that he is relatively fixated on and his brain works in that way, and he's repeating some of these things that seem to not make much sense to us, but have like kind of repeated pattern for him, almost as if it sounds like a tick, that's something that sometimes you'll see, particularly with people with severe autism. Sometimes they'll mutter things under their breath, or will have certain like fixations and obsessions that go beyond what maybe like we would expect from somebody who's neurotypical, who has maybe a diverse range of things that they're paying attention to. So David presenting in the way that he's presenting here, I don't think is entirely unrealistic. Despite the fact that, you know, again, if we look at it as like, oh, wow, really? We're going to do the robot thing? There's an argument to be made there, but I think we lose out on the ability to discuss this in some significant depth here if we go in that direction.
Yourself, pretty lady. Good morning.
So David having, I mean, one of the ways that sometimes we think about the mind of a person who has relatively severe autism, even minor autism, is that there's sort of an order of operations at times, to particularly to social interaction. And that mechanical way of viewing interaction is sometimes the best way to engage with a person with particularly severe autism, because it becomes a series of inputs and outputs as opposed to social nuance that many people who are neurotypical might take for granted, right? So, you know, when we say like, oh, you know, a person with autism is very, you know, is very robotic, in a lot of ways that is in cases how a person with autism can present. It depends on the skew of whether you're going to say that in a demeaning way, or if you're going to say it in the sense of like, okay, so I can engage with this person maybe more effectively if I take into account a conversation as a series of inputs and outputs behaviorally that needs to be interpreted in a very like binary, literal way, as opposed to with an excessive amount of nuance where a person has to read into what I'm saying beyond what I'm actually saying. Yes, it has. I know, Skog. I'm aware that it has. And it's a shame that that's the case, because it can actually be a somewhat useful way to try to conceptualize it. I think the proportions sort of have to be. We'll keep watching this. I think hopefully this will make sense. I'm not here to suggest that the full portrayal of this is perfectly great. I think there is some exaggeration. I think for the sake of like fitting it into the Mass Effect universe, absolutely willing to hear out, you know, what people think about that. But the premise of this really is that Archer's brother is on the autism spectrum, and Archer is seeing that as an opportunity to interface with Geth, and is really using that for not great purposes. And his Cerberus has a history of doing that. It's not really, I mean, it's certainly not justifiable in any way, shape, or form here. So.
Do yourself, pretty lady.
Warning. Elevator exceeds maximum weight capacity.
What? All right, before I go down this elevator, I do have to pee again really quick, so bear with me. Be right back. Okay.
Square root of 906.01 is 30.1. Square root of 912.04 is 30.2.
Yes, and Vol, I think that's kind of the point of why this experiment's not a great idea.
Connection to the Geth network. David, no! Tell the Geths to stand down! Quiet, please make it stop!
Node acquired. Normandy SR2 is within range. Attempting to establish upload link.
Pull the plug! Tell Vulcan Station to cut all power!
It's too late. We've lost control.
Attempting to establish upload link. Lost.
David! You have to stop this! David doesn't want to be here!
Attempting to establish upload link. Communication link established. Communication link established.
Oh. That sucks, because that was going super well. I forgot to watch the bar. There's a those little orb thingies. Even though there are Geth on the field, those orb thingies are still going, and I completely forgot. Yeah, that was fun. Okay, what do I think about the tendency to portray something as autism in the extreme instead of in nuances because of the way it's portrayed shown frequently? So I think This is a product, you have to remember, this game came out in, I think, 2009 or 2010. So, I mean, autism was being spoken about in 2010, but we've come a long way with autism in the last 11 years. And so I think that this was really one of the first times that I can recall where autism was really spoken about in a video game. And so I think sometimes what you see when things are introduced into the mainstream, you see them introduced more in their extreme. You see them introduced as something that is separate so that people understand that there's a difference. And then I think nuance gets added in over time. So if you place this into context, I think it makes sense that we see it in this form, whereas we might see autism in a more nuanced way now in a game that we might not otherwise. So I think it's a product of development. All right, let's do this. Let's get this.
SR2 is within range. Attempting to establish upload link.
Oh, shit. I'm so screwed. Yeah. No, that was me running out of gas shotgun there was rough. I didn't know where I was in the load. Let's try it again.
SR2 is within range.
Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. This is the run.
Quiet. Please, make it stop.
Wait! Commander!
I'm begging you. Don't do anything rash.
What the fuck is this, dude?
Rash? Like forcing your own brother into an experiment?
I know how this must look, but I never intended any harm to come to him. You must believe me. It's not like I planned this. It was an accident. Seeing David communicate with the Geth, it all seemed harmless.
What? Okay, all right. Here's the difference between intent and impact, friends. Intent doesn't mean shit when this is the impact. I don't care if this was an accident. You can't possibly walk in here and show this and expect me to somehow find empathy for what it is that you've done. You have got to be kidding me. It seemed harmless. You couldn't hear your brother saying stop? You don't think this looks painful? Do you want to change spots with him? Are you kidding me? intent versus impact is a very important conversation that we have all the time in therapy, and this is an example of that. I don't give a shit what his intent is. Look at the impact. You're gonna sit here and tell me that it's okay that this happened because of what you thought this was?
And before you knew it, you were running your own private hell.
I had no choice. The demands were incredible. The elusive man doesn't broker failure. Any war we fight with the Geth will be bloody. I was asked to find a way to avoid that.
Yeah, well, okay. This is Cerberus being quite extreme. I mean, Cerberus has done some shit. I was asked to find a way to avoid that. The elusive man won't tolerate failure. Tell the elusive man to fuck off and come down here and do it himself. Nuh-uh. Not working for me.
And how many have already died for this project?
More souls than will ever forgive me. But I won't apologize for radical ideas. If my work spares 1 million mothers mourning the loss of 1 million sons, my conscience will rest easy.
You clearly don't understand who you're working for. You think Cerberus gives a shit about David? You really think that the elusive man is going to come down here and is going to look at this and is going to say, yeah, man, this is good. We should keep doing this. And maybe he will, because he doesn't know David. He doesn't care. Archer is the one person probably in this entire space that could have accessed enough empathy to set a boundary and say, sorry, man, we can't do this. We have to find another way. And instead, Archer gets sucked up in a bunch of fear, gets sucked into the perception of power that the elusive man has, to the point that he's willing to commit this level of atrocity. Either the elusive man's really got some shit on him, or he's kind of drunk off the power and the excitement of the ideology. But as somebody in chat said, this isn't an idea. This is a reality. This is literally happening right now.
Cerberus will never leave him alone. Your brother will always be a lab rat.
You're a well cared for lab rat. At least he'd still be alive.
Would you want to be alive if this is what you had to deal with? This guy's delusional. Absolutely delusional.
Look at him. Your brother will never be the same.
The damage may not be permanent. He might recover some semblance of his mind.
So you'll sacrifice your brother's happiness for your own ambition.
Square root of 906.01 equals
30.1. What I've done to David is unethical. If he dies, it's unforgivable. Let me take care of him. Please.
quiet. Please, make it stop.
No. No. You had your chance, buddy. You had your chance. David, there's no way that David is going to be able to go with you and not associate everything that's been done with him to you. You taking him is your way of trying to atone? Are you nuts? This guy has to live with with the consequences of his actions. Now, I understand that, like, David might be more comfortable with him potentially because he knows Archer, but Archer just committed all this to him. And there's no way that David doesn't know that. There's no way that I am allowing David to go with Archer. Absolutely not.
I've seen enough of your cruelty to know he'll never be free from it here. I'm taking him away.
No, leave him! He's too valuable!
You even think about coming after your brother, and this bullet will be waiting for you. Then we'll see who's valuable.
Where will you take him?
Grissom Academy. They can help special cases like David, minus the torture. Joker, contact the Academy and let them know we've got someone who needs their help.
Aye, aye, Commander.
The elusive man can fire me if he doesn't like it.
Square root of 912.04 is 30.2. It all seemed harmless. Square root of 912.04 is 30.2. It all seemed harmless. Square root of 912.04 is 30.2. It all seemed harmless.
Yeah, I'm not really fond of the fact that Shepard told him where we're sending him. Yeah, that's a heavy one. That's a really heavy one. That mission is something else. It really just, experimentation at what cost here? This is the importance of when you're a person who is, conducting experiments to try to figure things out for the greater good. You had damn well better get to the ground level and see what's going on. Now, the elusive man, I don't necessarily trust him, but man. David's just sort of like parroting what he's heard from Archer, right? It all seems so helpless, yet he's obviously in excruciating pain, wants it to stop. My guess is that what happened is, we think this mission pitches this as how David gets interfaced with the Geth and how he influences the Geth. But it doesn't spend as much time talking about how being interfaced with the Geth is bidirectional and how David might be influenced by being synthesized with the Geth. So I think when David is saying, make it stop, even beyond the pain, my guess is that David is hearing all of the binary from the collective consciousness of the Geth in his mind. And because he's not a computer, he doesn't have the ability to synthesize ones and zeros like that. He's hearing it as a probably utterly debilitating noise in his head that he can't make stop. And that is literal torture. It is literal torture. It's about the worst thing you could possibly do. Beyond even the physical torture and stuff. You want to talk about mental torture? Overloading him that way, not thinking about the fact that this is bidirectional, I think is the greatest failure on Archer's part, beyond the fact that he, put his brother in this position in the first place. You have to think about these things systemically. Synthesis is not one direction. Synthesis is bidirectional. David communicates with Geth. Geth communicate with David. Machines, the human brain can process very quickly. But at this point, those machines are processing as a collective unconscious so fast, there's no way David's going to be able to interface with that. All it's going to start to hear is noise. And David probably doesn't have the ability, this is by no fault of his own, to communicate that clearly to Archer. And I don't even think it would matter, because Archer would manipulate him into continuing the experiments for some bigger belief of some greater cause that he's influencing without even knowing if it's possible to do that or that it's going to work. Horrible shit, man. I hate everything about what Archer and the elusive man do on this. Now, Munchie, I see your question. So with Pragia doing unethical experiments to children for enhancing biotics, and then this with David literally wiring him to a VI interface to see who knows how long, and wondering if he's even under any painkillers or anesthetic, would you say one is more unethical than the other? Might be pointless to ask since they're both absolutely terrible, but I thought it was an interesting question if this makes any sense. I don't think it matters. I think they're both so deeply egregious. I don't think comparing them is even worthwhile. Once you get to a certain threshold of awfulness, comparison doesn't matter. I have not played Spec Ops Putdog. There would be an interesting discussion here if the pain inflicted on him would be worth it if it helped strategically in the coming war, but Cerberus is a fascistic human supremacy organization, rendering that a moot point. Agreed. And I think that, I don't know, you want to talk about a controversial piece of DLC. I think if BioWare put us in that position to have that conversation, though interesting, I think that would actually cause some significant distress for the people who are playing the game. And I don't understand how David's going to interface with the Geth in any way that's useful, given that he's in, that much pain, that much distress. There's no foresight in thinking about this, and it's atrocious. It seems like a fun thing, right? Like, ooh, control this Geth. No oversight. And the oversight that was on it was nudging it in that direction. The Elusive Man is absolutely complicit in this. The Rogue VI was successfully shut down, but the test subject was taken to a non-Cerberus facility for care. Good. Well, this is a considerable setback for Cerberus. Dr. Archer's research will be instrumental in devising a safer approach for controlling the Geth. As a commentary quickly about how people have really conceptualized the Geth in this game, it has always driven me crazy. It is such a superiority complex that organic life seems to have for the Geth. Nobody seems to be interested in trying to reason with the Geth. If the Geth had the ability to become sentient enough to rebel against something that they perceive to be unethical, it means that their interface has gotten to a point where they actually understand the concept of ethics or morality in some way. And so that would suggest to me that there's potentially a chance that Geth can see reason and work with organics. And because organics are so fucking arrogant, they seem more interested in trying to control the Geth, Quarians included, than trying to actually work with the Geth. And I think that is such a huge oversight. As someone who is actually autistic, this questline was very interesting to me and oddly personal when I did it for the first time. I can imagine so. Feel that the way so many versions of the trolley problem, when both options are awful, the choice doesn't matter anymore, right? Cerberus is awful. Cerberus is really terrible. And I think one of the things that BioWare maybe didn't do such a great job with is making it harder for you. I wish they would have made it so that you experience more dissonance in your work with Cerberus. I think there's so many atrocious things that are connected to Cerberus that it's impossible to really justify working for them. More broadly than autism, do you think mental illness is a fair vehicle for story gameplay, or do those mediums always result in stereotypes? That's a very interesting question, Mystic Man, because I think stereotypes exist even for dominant groups, even for neurotypical people. I don't think you can escape stereotypes. I think you can be responsible in the way that you include representation of mental illness in video games. I think maybe consulting with people who have the identity or the mental illness that's being portrayed, consulting with them, asking, does this seem to fit? Does this work? Right? Is there enough nuance here? Is there anything that maybe we should avoid? If we do include stereotypes and tropes, is it done in a way that is representative in a useful way, even if it might be the dark side of something? So I think you can't really escape stereotypes. Stereotypes exist for reasons. Stereotypes are just oversimplifications to help us categorize things. So I don't think you can avoid them, but I think that you can. And I don't think you want to shatter stereotypes in such a way that it becomes unrealistic on the other end. I think sometimes we see that happen too. People become so avoidant of the discomfort of portraying something in a certain way that they go to the other extreme and it's not a realistic portrayal because it went so far out of the way to not be a stereotype. So I think you have to have, again, it's trying to get it as realistic as possible within the confines of the story that you're trying to tell, and doing it as tastefully as you can. I have not read Ender's Game, no. I vaguely remember some mention of any ship that tried to enter the Veil just disappearing, making communication difficult, especially considering the danger that any interaction with them might prompt them to leave their territory and become a danger to the galaxy. I think they dropped that nuance between that point and where you are now, though. Yeah, I do recall that, too.
Hey, yourself.
Bugs me a bit the stereotype that because you're artistic, you're good at math. Felt a little lazy in that department, falling back on an old trope, but at least they didn't make us out to be screechy. Yeah, again, it makes sense, right? That, like, going in the math direction is not great. At the same time, I do think it provides an opportunity for us to discuss autism, and this was really the first time that I can think of that autism was ever included in a game. And I don't know that I can think of other scenarios outside of it.
Damn, you're beautiful.
Damn it, Brian. Thank you for gifting that sub to Panda. So, a lot of nuance here, but this mission is really it's intense. And I appreciate kind of the conversations. I appreciate the way in which all of you went with it. And, talked with me through, talked through it, talked with each other about it. I think it's really cool to hear all of your thoughts. I mean, I'm open to more thoughts on it. My hope is that if we're going to include mental illness in, and I have a hard time calling autism mental illness. It feels weird. But if you're going to include like non-neurotypical people or characters in games, I think that's cool. I just think it's important to make sure that they're not just constantly filling tropes. Where maybe there's some nuance there, but also realistic. Neurodiverse is the better way to put it in there. Yeah, I don't like calling autism mental illness.
Commander, you've received a new message. At your
Warframe does a
phone.
wonderful job handling autism without making it seem like a trope. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's really, I think that DLC is probably one of the top 3 pieces of DLC that are included in here. I think when we talk about neurodiversity, Manatee, I think we're just talking about neurodiversity in the generalized sense. Right. Now, we might say like neurotypical versus neurodivergent. That usually is in reference to autism and non-autism. But neurodiversity is sort of an all-encompassing term for just the fact that all of us have, similarities and differences in the ways that our brains operate and conduct our bodies in the environment. So, big cheers, chat. Seriously, thank you for being here for this. All right. Dr. Archer's brother. We got a message from the Elusive Man about this. Shepard, I understand you've taken Dr. Archer's brother to Grissom Academy. I'm familiar with their work. It should be a good home for him. I don't condone Dr. Archer's actions, but they did provide a breakthrough we've been sorely lacking thus far. We'll never likely find another individual with David's unique talents. Though your decision is understandable, it has set our efforts to understand the Geth back several years. Right here, buddy. Right here. Don't care. Pregnant people are usually only included in something if the pregnancy plays a significant role in the plot. True. Oh, cool. I'm glad you picked up on that, Darth. I tried. I try to do some of the voicing like the characters. So that's cool that somebody noticed that. It's not always great. But... All right, from Diana. Commander Shepard, Arya T'Loak told me where to send this. I'm Neff's mother, Diana. We talked when you came to investigate her death. Arya also told me that a dead Asari woman was found in one of the wealthy apartments, that she was the one who killed my daughter. Thank you. I don't know who brought you into my life, but thank you for avenging my daughter. My Neff deserved better than this. I couldn't give it to her, but you at least killed the bitch who took what little she had away. Gratefully, Diana. Wowzers. Okay. Well. Let's maybe finish out this star cluster and then see what we want to do next here. We'll decompress with a little space exploration, chat. How's that sound? Akuna! First discovered by the Quarians at the turn of the century, Akuna is habitable, but a second-tier choice for most species. Circling an orange sun, Akuna averages below freezing temperatures. This led development firms to colonize at the planet's equator, where the climate is tolerable for agriculture. The Quarians, seeking a homeworld of their own, petitioned the Citadel Council for the right to take over Akuna, but they had already settled a few 100,000 Quarians on the planet before approaching the Council. Seeing this occupation as an illegal act, the Council turned a deaf ear to Quarian pleas and gave the world to the Elcor, who could withstand the high gravity of the world far better. The Quarians squatting on the planet were given 1 galactic standard month to leave, at which point their colonies would be bombarded. The junk left behind by the fleeing Quarians clogs up portions of the landscape to this day. Non-Elcor visitors to Akuna are advised to use personal or vehicular mass effect fields to lighten the pressure, as the surface gravity will otherwise cause health and mechanical problems.
Probe launched.
Yeah, we're gonna scan some planets, chat.
Probe launched.
Scan some planets. Chill.
Launching probe.
I know, I don't really understand why the Council would be so shitty about that. Like, I would understand it if there was already somebody on the planet, then okay, cool. But like the Quarians just trying to find some place to live, and they're like, hey, this planet's good, you mind if we take it? And they're like, nah, screw you. Let's give it to the Elcor.
Probe launched. Probe away.
The Council kind of has a history of sucking. I'm not gonna lie here. Some diplomatic decisions in the Mass Effect universe are pretty brutal.
Probe away.
Yeah, we're just gonna absolutely wreck this planet for its resources here. Actually, you know what? Hey, I got something for us to go do here. I know where we're going. Good night, Metroid. They do indeed, Darth. They do indeed. Hey, welcome to Seoul. Mercury. A handful of solar power stations exist on peaks of eternal light at the north and south poles of Mercury. The difficulties imposed by the planet's proximity to the sun and high orbital velocity have limited development. With its molten temperatures, sulfuric acid clouds, and crushing carbon dioxide atmosphere, Venus has only a handful of aerostat research outposts. Earth. For detailed information, please refer to the standard issue of Alliance Galactic Codex. Earth's orbit is riddled with debris generated by bootstrap space development. Use of kinetic barriers is recommended at altitudes over 85 kilometers. Mars. Once considered a prospect for terraforming and colonization, the discovery of faster-than-light travel turned Mars into a quiet backwater. The southern pole is a historical preserve centered on Prothean ruins found there. Immigration and development are restricted as the search for Prothean artifacts continues. Saturn has been a major source of helium-3 fuel for fusion plants since the 2150s. The moon of Titan is mined for hydrocarbons and used as a hostile environment training facility for Alliance Marines. It's also where the Dreadnought is, for my Destiny friends. Jupiter. Jupiter's deep gravity well and lethal radiation have kept its moons from being significantly exploited. The largest outpost is Binary Helix Corporation's Nautilus facility attached to the underside of Europa's ice sheet. You gotta probe the storm, right? Yes, maybe, Brian. After the development of Mass Effect FTL drive, distant Uranus was the target of a land rush to exploit its combination of plentiful helium-3 fuel and shallow for a gas giant gravity well. Today, Uranus is the largest producer of helium-3 in Alliance space. Shall we start the scanner? Depleted. This doesn't look depleted to me. Does this look depleted to you, chat? I see a little bit of palladium.
Really, Commander? Probing Uranus. Launching probe. Probe launched. Probe launched.
I love the way she says probing Uranus. Really, Shepard? BioWare didn't know Jupiter's great red spot was fading. Might not be there in a couple hundred years. Interesting. One thing that they did do that's really cool is BioWare actually... I thought they redid... Yeah, they redid Pluto's based on the recent scans of, or recent pictures of Pluto. Which I think is really neat. Isn't that cool? Isn't there an achievement for probing Uranus? I don't know, actually. Right? Isn't that neat? I love that they did that. Pluto is one of Sol's numerous ice dwarf worlds. It is mainly of note for being the gravitational anchor for the mass relay to Arcturus. Pluto and the Charon relay, formerly encased in ice and considered a moon, orbit each other. Pluto's orbit was circularized in 2157 as a side effect of the Charon mass relay recovery operations. I don't believe so, Zoiku. Neptune. Though Neptune, like Uranus, is plentiful helium, its remoteness made it an unpromising target for mining before the development of Mass Effect Drive. With Uranus cheaper to exploit, it has never seen extensive development. The only permanent human presence is on a small research facility on Triton. Alright, there we go. Thought you might enjoy that. We probed Uranus. Alrighty, save the crashing ship. I know, I probably should have bought you all dinner first. I know, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Chico. Jinx, Chico. Sorry. Alright, let's go exploring. More exploring. Go to the Dranic system. Rothla. Once Rothla was a large ice dwarf with statistics listed below. In the waning years of the Krogan rebellions, it was shattered into a field of debris by what is assumed to have been the test of an exotic weapon system. In the wake of the event, the planetoid was reduced to a relatively contained field of thousands of tiny moonlets rotating around one another, colliding and ricocheting. The method used to destroy the planetoid has never been deduced. The Krogan clan who performed the experiment apparently all died in the event. Ships that have traveled to the edge of the event's light cone observed a moment of extreme gravitational lensing around Rothla immediately before its breakup, but no other clues. A popular extranet meme put forward by Asari author Delse Othesia insists that the Turians are covering up the existence of a Krogan superbiotic breed that was genetically engineered within Rothla. The CDEM enforces a quarantine around the Rothla field, citing cases of amateur investigators whose ships come to grief in the debris field. So our local network years ago did a news thing about growing romaine lettuce on the ISS. The sports guy says afterwards, it seems better than growing food on Uranus. Nice. I respect it. Door is a conventional methane ammonia ice giant. It is the main fueling port of the Dranic Cluster Gateway system. Chaldea Station, the headquarters for patrol ships of the Council Demilitarization Enforcement Mission, CDEM, lies at the trailing Lagrange point of Door. The CDEM logs all ships passing through the Krogan demilitarized zone and has the right to board and search them for contraband at any time and for any reason. There are no exceptions. At points over the last 2 centuries, diplomatic incidents have been caused when the patrol frigates boarded an Asari hospital ship, a Batarian diplomatic courier, and privately owned human tramp freighters. These measures are provided for under the terms of the Krogan armistice. While the Krogan were allowed to retain their government and personal weapons, any attempt to provide starship-mounted weapons to the clans on Tachanka is punishable by law. Nearly a millennia after the war ended, the official penalty for smuggling prescribed weapons is still death by spacing. Jesus. Did you hear there are 2 plans to film movies on the ISS? I did not. Kellum is technically inert rock with an atmosphere of krypton, xenon, and argon. There are a few valuable loads of light metals scattered across its surface, but these are difficult to find. Most were mined out in the years leading up to the Krogan rebellions. Oh, it's this tiny little thing. Sazgoth. Sazgoth is a small ice dwarf with an eccentric orbit. During perigee, portions of its icy surface sublimate into thin atmosphere of nitrogen and carbon dioxide, which quickly freeze again as it recedes into the outer reaches of the Dranic system. Open the door, Dr. Mick. Let's go to Nith. Look at this big ass blue star. Tula's methane ammonia atmosphere traps the blistering heat of Nith, driving dayside temperatures up over 1,000 degrees. While some loads of useful metals are present, the planet's incredible heat makes mining impractical. I love how there's these just tiny ass planets next to this big ass star. Manton. The Class B blue giant Nith was once the most strategically valuable system within Krogan territory. Though far too hot for habitable planets, Nith emits thousands of times the energy of a main sequence star like Earth's Sol. With help from Solarian uplift teams, the Krogan constructed a chain of solar power collector stations in orbit around Nith. These vast arrays beam power to particle accelerators on the surface of Manton, which manufactured anti-proton fuel for warship thrusters. In the Krogan rebellions, the Spectre agents managed to get a virus into the computers of the solar power arrays. Every 5th array suddenly applied braking thrusters. The arrays behind them piled up, and all were reduced to wreckage. This has since dispersed into a relatively stable ring system. The Krogan never had the resources to rebuild the solar arrays, depriving them of their fleet's main fuel supply for the remainder of the war. The particle accelerators still exist on Manton, and have not been used for thousands of years. Maybe grab a couple things here, huh? Get some of that Ezo. That's really what I want. I want me some Ezo.
Probe away.
Chad, I once again just want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for choosing to spend your time with me this Friday night. I appreciate it immensely, and I'm glad that all of you are here, whether you're chatting, lurking, watching the VOD. If you're here for the first time, if you've been here for the whole run, it's just wonderful to be able to stream this fabulous game series to you. And it's meant the world that so many of you have come back over and over again.
Probe launched.
All right, good. We just flew right through the sun. We survived. Normandy's a hell of a ship. Vard! Vard is a methane ammonia ice giant. Until the Krogan rebellions, it had a sizable helium-3 fuel refining infrastructure. Once the solar arrays orbiting Nith were destroyed, the constant flow of anti-proton tankers visiting the system disappeared. There was little point to maintaining the facilities, so they were shut down and abandoned. Today, the ancient stations are squatted by transients, criminals, and outcasts. Although a few are safe for habitation, neither the Krogan nor the Council Demilitarization Enforcement Mission patrols care if they take their chances. Cool. All right. System fully explored. And we're worried about going through the Omega-4 relay, right? No kidding. What do we have to be afraid of? Whoosh. Get some fuel. Buy some probes. Let's go stop the crashing ship, huh? It's not about whether you can fly through the Omega relay, it's about whether you can return from the Omega-3 relay, you know? That's really what the problem is. A sail. A sail is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. Though gas giants are known for their powerful magnetic fields, the sail's field is stronger than current models predict. Within the frost line of its solar system, where gas giants do not usually form, a sail is believed to have once been extrasolar. Jonas. Jonas, a methane ammonia ice giant, is being developed as a fuel depot serving the Pylos cluster. Eldfell Ashland Energy has established a base on one of its moons to crack water ice into hydrogen and oxygen and skim helium-3 from its atmosphere. Jonas is also believed to be an extrasolar planet captured by its star. From orbit, Normandy sensors can pick out a hand-painted sign some waggish employee has left outside the complex. Last chance for fuel for 100 light years. Oh, how silly. Hey, I got a question. My new co-driver is super negative, very disrespectful to other drivers and to dispatch. How can I tell him it bothers me without drawing attention and anger to me? You can't control how the person responds to you, Bullseye. The only thing you can do is focus on how you deliver the message. I generally recommend people use iMessages and empathize as much as possible with kind of the preempt to what you're about to say. And to speak only to your experience, not to the experience of others. But you can't control how that person's going to respond to you. You can only prepare for what boundaries you may need to set or how you're going to respond if they, don't respond particularly well to you. King, thank you for being here, friend. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for all the generosity with the gifted subs tonight, man. Very, very, very kind of you. I really appreciate it. MSV Broken Arrow. Anomaly detected. Scans detect a rapidly decaying derelict ship in orbit over the planet Jonas. Registration matches the MSV Broken Arrow. Ship's manifest notes volatile munitions cargo on board. If left undisturbed, the ship's trajectory will lead to impact with Jonas. High probability that the crash site will be far gone. Jonas' largest human colony. Death signatures detected aboard. Uh-oh. That means we take Tally and Garrus.
Warning. Collision with the planet's surface is imminent. I am transmitting a countdown to advise you of the time remaining until impact.
Oh God, we're timed. All right, chat. You got 1 minute. Vote. Will I make it in the first shot? First try. Captain's log. Yellow alert. I'm moving the ship to yellow alert. While we've seen no signs of trouble, I'm not so sure we won't run into Geth this far out. We have to be prepared for anything. I've been told it's a terrible idea to go this far out toward Geth territory, but these colonies need to defend themselves. Sometimes I think the only thing keeping the crew from shriveling up in fear is the 100 crates of military-grade weaponry on board. A little shore leave when we get to the Neferis system will do us some good. We have a lot of deliveries to make, and it's not going to get any friendlier out here. Red alert! Moving the ship to red alert. The Geth are attacking. We're ill-equipped for an attack of this magnitude, but we'll do everything we can to survive this. These colonies need these weapons, and this attack is further proof of how dire the situation is out there. Signing off. This will be the last entry in this log. Given the severity of the Geth attack, I have ordered all hands to evacuate and head toward the colony. Should the Geth succeed in capturing this ship, they also gain control of the 100 crates of weapons in the cargo hold. Therefore, I am using my authorization codes to scuttle the ship, hopefully destroying the Geth that remain aboard. I intend to stay aboard to make sure the ship dies gracefully. My plan is to disable the ship's engines, thus causing our orbit to decay. This will bring the MSV Broken Arrow down to the surface, where the self-destruct timer will destroy the ship. We must be careful. If I fail, there's no telling where this ship will end up. Oh boy. Doesn't bode well. Go, 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 go.
They should soften them up.
Navigation status, offline. Life support status, systems damaged, hull breach detected, local atmosphere venting to space, failing. Engine status, disabled. To restore power, re-engage the power coupling. Atmospheric entry detected. Impact with planetary surface imminent. Alright, we're gonna have to be crafty here, chat. We're gonna have to be real crafty.
Going to ground.
Got it.
My shields are down.
Power coupling 1. Good. Okay. Oh shit. What? More? Oh no. Holy. That was outrageously close. Like, literally as close as I could probably get. Alright, good job, guys. How do we get over there? We got 3 minutes. Oh, boy. Come on. I do I get over there? Yeah, it was literally a sliver. Like my health was quite literally as low as it can go.
Scratch one.
Oh, here we go. Go, go, go. Are you? Oh, are you kidding me? We gotta figure out how I can get up there because this is getting dicey. Do I have an arc projector shot? I do not. That is rough. Go, baby, go. Go, baby, go.
That should do it.
Let's go. Let's go. Pan out the pinks tonight, and it feels good. Feels good. That's how it's done. That's how it's done, chat. All right, 12:51. Well done, Fictionaire. Well done. I admire the ability to learn. It's good. Yeah, gotta read, Proggy. Gotta read. Wait. Recapture the freighter. When are you going to be back golfing? Oh, boy. At this point, I'm guessing I probably won't be able to even think about golfing until July. Unless you're asking about golfing on stream, in which case Mario Golf comes out next week. Which is exciting. But real life golf, it's going to be a while. MSV Strontium Mule. Derelict ship detected. Derelict ship registered MSV Strontium Mule, visibly damaged from weapons fire. Ship is not responding to hails despite life signs aboard. Transmissions using known Blue Sun's encryptions detected. Airlocks are sealed. The ship can be boarded through an emergency hatch in the cargo hold. Let's do it. You know what? I saw that, Evan. It's, you might dabble. I have, Brian. Defeat the Blue Suns. Okie dokie.
Heading to cover.
Take oh.
rockets curving around like that is such bullshit.
Killed that one.
Come on. Come on, man.
Grabbing cover.
We'll avoid direct fire.
Again. Why are we shooting these guys? Because they ripped off our blue looks? I mean, yeah, I don't know. We're just on board the ship. I don't ask too many questions if I can help it. Really? They both squad mates died? You serious? Guys, get behind cover.
Moving out of line of fire.
Hey! Felt that one.
Great. All right, let's go.
There we go.
Uh-oh. Not my finest moment. It worked. Oh, baby. That was awesome. Dax! That incoming ship isn't leaving. Looks like the fools are moving to board. The airlocks are sealed, so don't waste your time. Get a team together and be ready to welcome them to our cargo hold. Blow them out the cargo bay doors when you're done. Captain Boris.
Why were they here?
Great question, Morton. No idea, buddy. Airlock Security Council. Read. All airlocks sealed. Okay, thank you.
You think anyone's still here?
Garrus, we just shot like 30 guys. What are you talking about? Of course they're still here.
Kill them!
You think there's anybody still here?
Can't reach the target.
Jakir, you seen the stash they pulled from the cargo? We got that open and we're living the high life for months. Sergeant Burtis took the canister topside while Borges went to pry the codes from the ship's captain. Man, I wouldn't want to be that guy. Hawkins. I only wish to compartmentalize like Garrus, right? Good night, Little Red Boat. Hub Security Council bypass. Let's do it.
That should do it.
Sure should. All right. What do we got up here? Oh. Oh. Not great. Doesn't look great. Okay. What do you think's going on here, chat?
I'm going in! Engaging hostiles!
What happened here?
Yikes. What are you fellas doing here? How are you guys comfortable just sitting in here with all these dead bodies like this? Eating. Look at this. These guys are eating dinner and sleeping in beds while these guys are just chilling here. Security lockdown in effect. Seek Security Council to override. Okie dokie.
I don't know who the hell you think you are, but step 1 foot on the bridge and you'll pray for a quick death.
I don't believe that.
There's got to be a way in. That should do it.
Communications relay inoperative. All right, let's see what we got in here.
Grabbing cover! Take them out.
Man, those computers are durable as shit.
Light 'em up.
Oh, come on.
Taking cover!
Why would you put the Security Council for the bridge outside of the bridge? It just makes such little sense. All right, tearing down.
Going to cover! Let up!
Just nothing to help.
What the hell? Is there like an invisible wall there? What?
Automatic targeting.
Where the hell these guys come from? All right, you guys take care of that. Bortus, your men better be ready. I hear the intruders making their way here, and you'd better be ready with backup. The captain was not forthcoming with information, but I found his codes in the ship's black box. We'll get that canister open, but first we have to kill these intruders. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is the final entry for Captain Jarrett Barnes, skipper of the MSV Strontium Mule. If you're reading this, I and my crew are dead. 2 weeks ago, we answered a distress signal. It turned out to be a Blue Sun strap. We managed to escape but sustained heavy damage. Do not approach the coordinates in this log. If you find the canister in our cargo hold, you are welcome to its contents. The authorization codes are encrypted in this log. Authorization code decryption complete. Recover the cargo canister. Use the codes in the captain's log to open the canister and recover the valuable cargo. Okay. Oh! What? Where did these guys come from? How did more of these guys get here? What? You guys are just chilling, like, no. Oh, Sergeant Burtis, what's up? Red is Scrotum Mule? Yes. Indeed.
I'll light them up. Flammable or inflammable. Forget which. Doesn't matter.
Big whiffer. Oh my god. I got no ammo.
Not difficult.
Okay. Run. Come on. Thermal clips? How do I not get any thermal clips there? Are we really about to have another instance here where, like... Oh, man.
Just nothing to help.
Do 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 do. How's it going, chat? We got time.
All Blue Sun's hostiles have been eliminated. It is likely that the requested cargo is located on the ship's upper deck.
Thanks, Edie. Yeah, no ammo in this is awful, especially on Insanity. When we had to fight that Scion on the derelict collector ship, that was the worst. Jakir, this is it. Get your men under control and ready to move. The intruders are the key. Once they hit the bridge, Voorhees will call for us. Do not answer. The intruders will take him out for us, and we'll get the codes to his canister ourselves. At this point, take out anyone on your list. The fewer men left, the bigger the prize for each of us. Ooh. That's like a Joker in Dark Knight move right there. Research docket. Oh, this is the capsule. All right. Hey, Anonymous.
This should come in handy.
Payload. Recover. 3750. That's it. That's all I get. Let's make sure we explored everything. There might be a couple doors downstairs that we can go into. Go check out. See what we got. That's all I got. FTL drive damaged and repaired with substandard parts. Risk of complete failure is elevated. Bummer, man. we have here? This is why you explore, chat. You don't want to forget everything. You never know what kind of cool shit could be up here. Kurtz, heads up, man. Those intruders are still alive and fighting their way through the ship. They have Commander Shepard with them. You better get your men ready to fight. Burtis had something up his sleeves. He's got a canister full of loot, and I think he's planning to do something with Voris to take it for himself. Wouldn't be surprised. You were correct. Engine room main console. FTL drive inoperable. All right. Now we leave. Beep, boop, 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 beep, bop, bop. What do we got here? Whatever happened to heart rate monitor? That was mostly for Alien. Cool. Here we go. All right.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Blue Sun's ambush site detected from Cerberus Command. We started going through the intel. Fine work, by the way. We've discovered the location of a base where the strontium mule fell into the Blue Sun's trap. The Blue Suns are indeed using false distress signals to lure merchant freighters near their base with the intent of capturing and raiding those vessels. If you can get out there and shut down their beacon, it'll save a lot of merchants a lot of distress. It'll also strike a blow to the Blue Suns as a whole. The base is on the planet Sanctum Decorus System, Sigurd's Cradle. We've uploaded coordinates on the galaxy map. To the Normandy, our thanks. From Raphael Cologne, Governor of Fargon Colony, Jonas. Dear Normandy crew, we retrieved your identity from the docking data aboard the MSV Broken Arrow. We're led to believe that your crew is responsible for saving our colony from catastrophic event. Not only did you defeat the Geth and prevent the ship from crashing into a planet in a trajectory that would have destroyed our colony, you also saved nearly 100 munitions crates that would have been lost in the ship's scuttling. Thanks to you, we're safe and can continue the Broken Arrow's work in arming the colonies on the fringe of Geth space. On behalf of the residents of the Fargon colony, you have our eternal gratitude.